Emma, and today I am here with New York Times best-selling author, Silvera.
Yeah, is that weird that I just said my name
No, I
with you?
think it's perfect.
Okay, alright.
Today I'm going to be interviewing Adam from my channel, and we're going to be doing a fun little video on his new YouTube channel, which you should definitely go check it out. It'll be linked in the description, as well as the video that we are doing. But I'm super excited, so let's get into the questions.
Yay!
Why don't we start off by you just telling viewers like a little bit about your channel?
Yeah, so I wrote More Happy Than Not. It's about 16-year-old Aaron Soto who's growing up in the South Bronx. At the same time, a memory alteration procedure becomes available to the public. So essentially, if you're dealing with some difficult memories, you can set up an appointment with the Closed Institute to forget them. And then stuff happens from there.
So, when did you know that you wanted to be an author?
Yeah, I was like writing fan fiction when I was like 11, like Harry Potter fan fiction. I wrote an 8th Harry Potter book before all the books were out. Harry Potter and the Demise of Hogwarts was its title, and it was awful, of course.
I wanted to read it.
Yeah, I even did like a cover for it, and it was like Hogwarts burning, and like and just like wizards flying by. But yeah, so I've written pretty actively since then, like more Harry Potter fan fiction, Charm fan fiction, Supernatural fan fiction, a lot of fan fiction.
I feel like a lot of authors start with like fan fiction. Like I know a ton of authors started there.
For sure, and it's the coolest.
Are there any significant influences for the plot of More Happy Than Not?
Yeah, I mean, like, I follow a lot of conversations about nurture versus nature, and there's a lot of kind of like misconceptions about sexuality and in the regard that we choose our sexuality, and I think sexuality is very fluid, but I didn't choose to be gay. I love being gay now because I get to make out with a lot of hot guys, but I didn't like choose to be gay. I chose to accept that I was gay. So the kind of trial that Aaron is dealing with in the book is he is considering using this new Latino procedure to forget that he's gay because he thinks living life as a straight teen would be easier. So a lot of that stuff kind of came into play, and I've always been a fan of like memory novels, amnesia novels, like Maze Runner was a favorite trilogy of mine before it was like super popular, and that was like a really hipster defense, but I liked it before it was cool. Yeah, but yeah, so I mean, like books like that, anything that kind of like deal with memory, I was a fan of.
Well, speaking of memory, the next question is: were there any significant influences behind the Latino project?
Not really. I mean, the book gets a lot of comps to Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is like totally great, and I love that movie. But I was like 10 when that movie came out. So one day I was telling a coworker about. I was like, oh, I have this book I want to write. He's like, oh, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And since then, I've like discovered it and loved it. But for me, I always wanted to write about a clinic that was very kind of like, every day, and like it was gonna feel super grounded, not like explosively sci-fi or whatever. Just as simple as like going to the dentist, So yeah, but there's actually in Sweden they're developing like a memory procedure.
I feel like I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. So the next couple of years we'll have like a procedure that will do sort of this very thing, except it's gonna be more registered for those with like post-traumatic stress disorder. But from there, eventually we can forget lost love for sure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's why I think your book's so interesting because it's set in such like a modern, like contemporary world, but there's still like a significant difference that's totally altered the world into something new. So that's what I think is super interesting specifically about.
It'll stop being sci-fi in a few years. It'll just be regular fiction.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Was More Happy Than Not the first book you wanted to publish?
Yes. I will say that I was like working on like a fantasy book when I was like 19 or something, but it was total like Harry Potter knockoff. But More Happy is the first book I've ever completed, ever written more than 10,000 words for, and first book I sent out to agents and editors. Like it is definitely like the book of my heart. Like a lot of myself like went into it, but I'm super proud. But I'm now since then like working on like a fantasy book that I like abandoned, and more soon. But yeah, More Happy is definitely. I'm so happy that was the first book I published. Yeah, I was lucky that way. Yeah.
I know a lot of others definitely aren't that.
Yeah.
Good for you. So describe your book in 10 words or less.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Boy undergoes memory procedure to forget he is gay. Hi. I'm ending a sentence on hi. That was weird.
We could say hi.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but that's not the way my mind works because I'm backwards. So.
If you could be anything besides an author career-wise, what would you want to be?
A wrestler, 100%. Like I literally like grew up watching wrestling. Yeah, I know. My ambitions were to be the light heavyweight champion, so it's not like I was trying to be like the world heavyweight champion or like but maybe tag team champion would have been fun too. But yeah, I wanted to be like a Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy type, one of the like fast guys, super like agile, whatever, hopping up the turnbuckle. My wrestling name probably would have been like Double A because I was like a Triple H fan. But now look at me. No, I'm not wrestling. You would probably kick my ass. So
You sure about that?
you're like trained like a shadow hunter. So like
very true.
yeah. So but a wrestler.
I would never accept that from you.
Yeah. Twist.
Plot twist. So we're gonna play a quick game of Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Great.
With book characters and
Rated
their
R version, love it.
respective actors. So we have Harry Potter, aka Daniel Radcliffe.
Okay.
Alec Lightworth, aka Matthew Daddario. And Thomas from the Maze Runner, aka Dylan O'Brien.
This is
So you can do like either like the characters or like the actors.
okay. I'm gonna kill Daniel Radcliffe / Harry Potter. I'm sorry, he's cute, but like.
I just felt my heart breaking.
Well, I just felt Harry Potter break into the pieces because I killed him. But I love. Oh God. I'm gonna choose to fuck Dylan O'Brien / Thomas, and I'm gonna marry Alec. I mean, like them eyes though, like and it's just like his voice, everything. Like Alec, if you've seen this,
Give him
tweet
a
me.
call.
Yeah, for sure.
If you could live in any fictional world besides the Wizarding World, because I feel like the Wizarding World, like everyone's automatic.
That's fair. I was told it was gonna be like Hogwarts. Duh. Now I have
Like,
to
what
think.
other one would you pick?
Damn, man. I mean, I have a Harry Potter tattoo. I feel like I get to say Hogwarts. It says ridiculous. I'm gonna go with. Okay, it's a contemporary world, but I'm gonna go with the world that Becky Albertalli created in Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, just so I can date Simon Spear, because like he's my homeboy, and if he were real, we'd be at it for sure.
It's a pretty decent response. I feel like a lot of people would normally say like a fantasy, but
Yeah, like I wanted to, but you like ixnayed that. So.
Like, what Hogwarts house are you in?
I'm what we call a Hufflepuff, so I'm a hybrid. Yeah. What's your hybrid?
I am Slytherin.
Oh, that's adorable. I almost said Slither adorable, but I thought that was cheesy, so we're gonna act like I didn't say it. No,
I appreciate the fun.
I'm Hufflepuff. Like, yeah. I think, but I like what Ravenclaw stands for, but I just love the aesthetic of the house, like blue and silver, is kind of like my deal. So I mainly just want their wardrobe, but I'm like a Hufflepuff, like, and Ravenclaw clothing, I guess.
I guess that definitely works.
Yeah.
And for the final question, what can we expect from author Adam Silvera in the future?
Yeah, so I have 2 novels coming out in 2017. The first is History Is All You Left Me, which deals with like OCD and grief, and it's about a boy grieving his childhood love, and he's forced to befriend his the deceased's boyfriend at the time of death, and this unlikely friendship emerges from that. And then also I have They Both Die at the End, which will be out in fall 2017, and it's set in a world where Death Pass calls you on the day you're gonna die. So it's like, hey Emma, this is Adam Clint from Death Pass. Unfortunately, sometime in the next 24 hours, you'll be meeting an untimely death. Please take this time to get your affairs in order. And it's about these 2 boys who meet through the Last Friend app, and stuff happens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So interesting. But, like, do they die at the end?
We will see. Fall 2017.
Great. Well, Adam, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
me
much,
on my
guys.
channel. So definitely be sure to check out the video that's linked below that me and Adam did on his channel.
Yes.
Check out Adam's channel in general, and I will leave the Goodreads link to More Happy Than Not below. That is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!
Bye.